Lifting his carman high in the air, and with his long auburn hair gleaming in the sun, Lachlan the Red led the Macintosh charge, yelling the slogan of his clan. The Camerons met the Macintoshes at the rush, shouting as they advanced. The two sides met in the centre of the field, with carman clashing on carman and body smashing against body in their pursuit of victory. Lachlan dodged a massive swipe from a freckle-faced Cameron, lifted the ball in the crook of his carman and launched it forward. Queen Melona of Alaba led the cheers as the Macintoshes advanced in a wide formation, with one tall forester trapping the ball and hurling it toward the goal. The Cameron goalkeeper made a valiant attempt to catch it, but the ball bounced off his elbow and in between the posts. All around the field the Macintosh supporters and the neutrals cheered, while those people who followed Clan Cameron looked sullen, or took hold of the hilts of their dirks and growled revenge for this insult to their superior sporting skill. "This could get interesting," Melcorka said cheerfully. Leaning against his staff, Braddon nodded. "These big games often end up in a free-for-all." "That goal makes it a draw," Queen Melona judged the temper of her subjects. "It's time to stop the game before somebody gets seriously hurt." Melcorka looked at the field, where 3 men lay on the ground nursing injuries of various degrees, while most of the remaining players were bruised and bleeding. "I've never seen this sport before. What's it called?" "This is shinty," Braddon told her quietly. "It is a game as ancient as time." "It's very violent," Melcorka said. Melona laughed. "That is good coming from you." She touched the great sword that Melcorka wore strapped across her back. "You are one of the greatest warriors in Alaba." "I am not as violent as this game," Melcorka said, as the Camerons launched an offensive that saw 3 Macintoshes knocked to the ground and others sent staggering back. Now it was the Cameron section of the crowd that was gesticulating, roaring encouragement to their chosen players, while those who supported the Macintoshes were waving fists and sticks in return. "Here we go," Braddon said, as some of the crowd came onto the pitch to support the Macintoshes, and their rivals spilt on to help the Camerons. Melona shook her head. "Men take their sports far too seriously." Still smiling, she stood up and strolled onto the pitch with her hands above her head. "I'd better go with her," Melcorka said. "No." Braddon touched her arm. "She is the queen. Nobody will hurt her." Melcorka watched as the crowd parted before Melona until she reached the centre of the pitch. The hubbub eased as men realised that their queen stood among them. They stepped back respectfully to give her more room. "That was an exciting game," Melona's clear voice carried over the hush. "Both sides proved their skill and a draw is a fair result. Well done to everybody, and now we are no longer opposing teams. We are all shinty players or shinty supporters, gathered in the one field in friendly companionship." Now that the initial excitement had passed, the people were calming down, with Melona's words helping to assuage any remaining animosity. "Melona has the people's respect," Melcorka said. "She is the queen." Braddon looked around him, smiling. Melcorka expected his sigh and the words that followed. "All the same, Melcorka, I have had enough of all this hospitality and luxury." "You wish to be on the road again," Melcorka said. "I do as well." "Well met, woman with a sword." Melcorka did not know the broad-shouldered man who stopped in front of them. He carried a long claymore across his back, with the hilt decorated with interwoven Celtic designs. "Well met, man with a sword," she replied coolly. "I am Melcorka of the Channel Bernus, who some call the Swordswoman." She waited for the man to introduce himself. "Your name and fame are known, Melcorka the Swordswoman. I am Megechern of Islay, swordmaker to MacDonald of the Isles." "Your name is also known, Megechern." Melcorka waited for Megechern to speak next.